Welcome back to your political science class. We were in the chapter 2 Public Administration. In the last class we had studied about the Union Public Service Commission, Karnataka Public Service Commission. Today we will move on to the Secretariat at the center and the state. Central Secretariat means Kendriya Sachivalaya. So, is the administrative civil service under Group A and Group B of the Central Civil Services of the executive branch of the Government of India. They are governed by the Central Secretariat Service Rules of 1962, which has been issued under the powers of Article 309 of the Constitution of India. The service members work under the restrictions and rules of the Central Government Services Rule. The service serves as the backbone of the administrative works and provides permanent bureaucracy and functionary state of the Union government, ministers, cabinet secretariat, central secretariat, and other officers of the governor or other of the government. Based on the Central Secretariat Service model, the state governments like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh have organized their own independent services like Bihar Secretariat Service and Provincial Service Secretariat Service of Uttar Pradesh. The union government ministries such as like the railways, defense and external affairs have organized their own independent services based on the central secretariat services model, which are known as Railway Board Secretariat Service, Armed Force Headquarters, Civil Services and Indian Foreign Policy Group B, that is the General Cadre respectively. You can see how the divisions are made. Department secretary, wing, additional or joining secretary, division, deputy secretary, under the branch, under secretary, section officer. Now let us move on in detail, children. To facilitate the efficient and capable administration, various departments and ministries are created. The main responsibility of the Secretariat is to aid the ministers who are the political heads in the running of the administration. It has the Chief Secretary as the administrative head and the Prime Minister as the political head. Now we will move on to the formation, how it is formed. The Central Secretariat. According to the Constitution of India, Article 77, Part 3, the President of India, he has the powers to frame the rules to facilitate the smooth and efficient functioning of the central government in assigning the portfolios for the ministers. Each cabinet ministers will have an independent ministries. If the portfolio is bigger, the state minister and the deputy ministers would be there to assist them. One portfolio may have more than one department. For example, though home, agriculture, defense, finance, and others are independent departments, they can group under one secretary. The portfolio, children, it is being divided as the following of each is entrusted to an official. The hierarchy of the secretariat is as follows. We are having the departmental principal secretary or additional secretary. Wing, he might be a joint or additional secretary. Division, deputy or director secretary. Branch, under secretary. Section officer. Now we will move on to the roles and functions of the Central Secretariat. Secretariat is an organization that aids the government in fulfilling its aim. It advises the ministers in framing the policies. Secondly, it aids the ministers in performing his legislative duties. Thirdly, it frames the regulations and administrations. Fourthly, it analyzes the problems carefully. It prepares the budget also by keeping the close relationship with the finance department. It works as the bridge between the central government and the state government. In nutshell, we can tell that the Secretariat is like the nerve center of the government. It functions as the brain center of the policy making. Now we will move on to the State Secretariat. Every state secretariat functions as the nerve center of the state government children. The secretariat, it includes the departments of the state. Ministers are the political heads of these departments, and the principal secretaries are the administrative heads of the departments. The chief secretary is administrative head of the state secretary. The secretary would be the head of one or two departments, and the secretaries are usually from the IAS cadre. Now let us move on to the structure of the Secretariat. The Chief Minister distributes the portfolios of the ministers. The portfolios are different from one state to the another state. The total number of departments varies from 65 to 35 departments in number. The Chief Secretary is the administrative head and also has the Secretary head. Every department of the government will have a secretary. In some departments, they are also called as commissioners. They advise the ministers on the administrative issues. The office of the principal secretary is divided into many divisions. Each division children, it will be under the control of a section officer. The section officer's duty is to verify the paper and files of his division and submit it to the concerned personnel. Every division will have a stenographer, first division assistant, second division assistants, and other officials. The state secretariat is made up of many officials who are appointed for a specific duration. The administrative structure of the state secretary is like this children: the principal secretary, special secretary or additional secretary, joint secretary, deputy secretary, under secretary, associate secretary, and section officers. Now let us move on to the role, functions of the State Secretariat. It is an advisory body and the main functions of its are: it is an apex body of the state government and administration. It aids the policy making on all the issues which is related to the state. It advises it functions as the advisory expert committee to the state government. Thirdly, it facilitates the internal harmony among the various departments and consolidates the various policies and programs of the government. It also prepares the budget and controls the public spending. It advises the ministers in formulating the draft of the bills and supports in formulation of rules and regulations related to the financial discipline. The state secretariat is the central of the political and administration function of the state. So these are the roles and functions of the state secretariat. Now let us move on to the law and order. When I tell law, what do you mean by the word law? For a community or a society to work children, it needs to have a level of structure that applies to everyone, is to understand everyone. Laws prepare the structure and regulate the way in which the people organize and the government behave. A law is a rule that comes from a legitimate authority and applies to everyone. They are created to make sure that everyone understands what is expected of them as a member of the society and what they can expect of others, including the government. The law and order are the medicine of the body politic, and when the body politic gets sick, medicine must be administered. So, in order to maintain peace in the country, the maintenance of law and order is very essential. The society what we are having now, it is a fast growing society. The issue of maintaining the law and order is a very serious problem. The maintenance of the maintenance of the law and order are the two faces of the same coin. Under the 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution, the law and order are included under the state subject. It is the duty of the state government to maintain the law and order. The central government has the constitutional right to advise the state government on the issues of pertaining to the law and order. So, it is having three lists: the union list, the state list, and the concurrent list. So, the union list, it contains subjects which are of national importance and only Parliament of India can legislate it. When we move to the state list, it contains the issues of local importance and state legislature can make the laws on it until they specifically ask the Parliament to do so. Thirdly, the concurrent list. It contains the items which both Parliament and the state legislature can legislate. So, next we will move on to the role of the central government. The role of central government in maintaining the law and order is explained in various articles of the Constitution. According to the article of 355, the duty of the Union to protect the state against the external aggression and internal disturbances. It shall be the duty of the Union to protect every state against the external aggression and internal disturbances and to ensure that the government of every state is carried on in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution. And we are also having the Article 356, how and when a president rule is imposed. Whenever there is a constitution failure of state government, it takes place. It should enforce the emergency or presidential rule in a state. We are also having the Central Home Ministry. So let us know about little bit about the president rule under the Article 356. In case the governor of a state reports to the president or he is satisfied with the government of a state cannot be carried on according to the provisions of the Constitution, then the president can make a proclamation to that effect. That proclamation he can take over the functions of the government of the state and all or any other power exercisable or by the governor or any body or authority in the state and transfer the powers of legislature to the parliament. Parliament can make laws with respect to all the state matters. Then we are also having the Central Home Ministry has a parliamentary forces under the command of to ensure the law and order of the country. So now we will move on to the Central Armed Forces, that is the CRPF. This force has the mandate to maintain the law and order. It tackles any rebellion or provides relief whenever there is a natural calamity. Then we are having the BSF, Border Security Force, Jeevan Paryatan Kartavya. So this force is formed to check the criminal activities in the border. This is the border. And it polices the border to check the illegal activities, policing the border and providing safety and security to the people living in the border areas are the main functions of this border security force. Then we are having the Railway Protection Force. It is also called as RPF. It protects the properties of the railways. It monitors the illegal activities in the train. Then we are having the Central Industrial Security Force, CISF. This force gives protections to various big industries of the central government. This force is usually utilized for the services in the airports. The central government plays the converging role and fulfills the specific roles of maintaining the law and order in the country. The central government provides a framework for the maintenance of law and order to the state governments by providing skilled personnel and advisors. Now we will move on to what is the role of the police and the structure of the state police. The primary role of the state government is to ensure the law and order in the state. In order to fulfill this duty, the state governments have a police force that will have adequate training and function. The police department comes under the Home Ministry. The Home Ministry has the responsibility of police force. The Home Ministry is the head of the Secretariat, who would be from IAS cadre. The Secretary aids the Home Minister in his day-to-day administration. Now we will move on to the structure. You can see the structure of the police. This one. We will read about it. See, we are having the IPS, we are having the Inspector General, Deputy Inspector General, Superintendent of Police, Superintendent, Additional Superintendent, Deputy Superintendent. These are the various departments according to the grades. What we are having: Superintendent, Additional Superintendent, and also the Deputy Superintendent, then the Inspector, Sub-Inspector, Assistant Sub-Inspector, Head Constable, Senior Constable and Constable. All these will be on sleeves, and these will be under the training. So these are the various departments. When we move on to the state police structure of the state, Home Minister or Home Secretary. Then we are having the Director General of Police, that is the DGP, who is the head of the department. Then we are having the Additional Director General of Police, ADGP, Deputy Inspector of Police, Divisional Head, Superintendent Police, SP, Head of the District Police Administration, Deputy Superintendent of Police, Divisional Head, Circle Police Inspector, CPI, who is a circle head, and we are also having the police sub inspector, PSI, assistant sub inspector of police, ASI, head constable and police constable. So the police force performs a major role in maintaining the law and order of the state. So with this, children, we finish up with the second chapter, that is the public administration. In this chapter, we studied about the importance and meaning of public administration, scope, the different types of methods of recruitment, and we also studied about the UPSC, KPSC exam, this one. And today we studied about the central and the state government secretariat and law and order. So with this, we finish up with the chapter. Thank you, children.